What's going on, YouTube? This is Darklight Dreamer coming at you with another Q&A video, and guys, it has been a hellacious couple of weeks. First of all, my work schedule has just been everywhere, which also means that my recording slash editing slash uploading schedule has just been everywhere, and I've just been struggling to keep up with everything and trying to get everything out on time. Some days I'll just get home so tired. Work has just been kicking my ass lately, and like my whole body will hurt when I get home and I just want to sleep. I just feel so tired, and I need to get editing done that morning, but instead I need to lay down and sleep for a few hours before I get to editing, and it ends up going until the last minute. But I get there, I get it up on time. But hopefully in the near future my work schedule will normalize again. They're putting me off in the middle of the week. I know you guys know that I'm used to being off on the weekends, but I think they're going to be scheduling me consistently like in the middle of the week off every week for a while to come. So since it's not optimal, but since I'll have the same 2 days off for every week, I can kind of work around that. So that's been taking up most of my spare time. Pretty much everything I wanted to get done in the last couple of weeks, none of that got done. I haven't even had time to play games really at all these last couple of weeks. I'm still like in the same place in Mass Effect Andromeda I was a week and a half ago. I haven't been able to play hardly anything. I have had time to sit down and watch some stuff an hour or two at a time, but that's pretty much it. One thing I have been watching a lot lately, however, is Oversoul's Get Even Let's Play series, and I know that's a game that a lot of you probably haven't even heard about, but it's a really, really great looking game. I really highly recommend you watch Oversoul's Let's Play series of it, or check the game out yourself. It looks really impressive. It's like a combination of a lot of video game styles put into one in the best way possible. It's got some stealthing sections where you're like Solid Snake style, trying to get around enemies. You have your little radar that shows you their field of vision, and they're patrolling around everywhere, and you're trying to get from point A to point B as stealthily as possible because you don't want to kill a lot of people. But when you do want to kill people, there's a lot of action sequences as well, where you have this cool corner gun where you hook your cell phone up to the side of it and use its camera to see around corners, because the front part of the gun that actually is the firing part can turn corners or turn to where you can shoot over cover while you're still in the safety of cover. And that's really freaking cool, being able to headshot people around the corner with it and stuff like that. So there are also a lot of like psychological parts like Silent Hill or Layers of Fear, because a lot of the game takes place in your mindscape and things happen in your mind that don't quite make logical sense. Doorways appearing out of nowhere, scenery changing and stuff like that. So it's got a lot of different styles mixed into one. Also some condemned criminal origin style crime scene investigation, where you have the most badass cell phone in the world in this game, and you can use it to use like UV light and heat vision and stuff like that. When you're using it to document all this stuff, it also works as a camera and as a cell phone, surprisingly. There's a lot of different apps you can use on this to help you solve this mystery that you're trying to solve and try to piece together your past. So yeah, it's got a lot of video game genres rolled into one, and I think you guys are really going to like it. So check out his Let's Play of it, or check out the game for yourself. I think you guys would really like that. I've also been watching a movie series called Kara no Kyokai, or Garden of Sinners, and it takes place in the same universe as Fate Stay Night / Fate Zero / Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, but it's a very dark and gritty story, and has a different main character. It references a lot of the things that happen in Fate Stay Night, or a lot of the organizations that exist in that universe, but it doesn't tie in with any of those characters directly. And it starts off kind of confusing and dark. You don't really know what's going on, but the further you get into the movie series, the more you get to piece together what's going on, and it just gets better and better as the series goes. So, and the main character fights with a knife, and she has this ability called the Mystic Eyes of Death perception, where she can see the death in people and things, and she can even see the lines and points of death, like people's seams, so that she can, when she cuts along it, like if she cuts along the line of death that goes through somebody's arm, it just cuts the whole arm off. She can cut somebody to pieces in seconds. That comes with a lot of downsides too, and she has like a split personality type thing going on, and one of them is murderous. And it's interesting to see how these other characters are able to build relations with her and interact with her. She has this really badass boss too, that kind of like hired her to work as an investigator for the supernatural, or for supernatural crimes and things like that. They go and they perform these investigations and try to stop evil things from happening. So it's a really interesting series. It's really dark though. I think you guys might enjoy that if you're into that kind of thing. I've also been watching the Castlevania series on Netflix. I finished the first season. It's only like 4 episodes long. It's really short. It's like 2 hours. It's like a movie. And it's like the prologue, really, because the season ends like as the band gets together, so to speak, and they decide that they're gonna go fight this great evil. And they managed to do this thing where it got me really liking the bad guy in like the first 5 minutes of the series. I actually just kind of want to see him win, because those people freaking deserve it. Watch the series, you guys will know what I'm talking about, but in a way, I'm kind of rooting for the bad guy in this one. And they had Alucard in it! Freaking Alucard is in the series! It's one of my favorite Castlevania characters ever. So that's really freaking cool. Check that series out. I think you guys are really going to like it. So what is coming up on my channel? First of all, I'm 3 episodes in so far of my Soma Let's Play series. I'm really enjoying that game, guys. It's a great game. If you haven't checked out that Let's Play yet, I think you guys are really going to like it too. It's very, very deep. There's a lot to that game. It's scary, and at the same time, it's thought-provoking. So yeah, check that out if you have not already. In September, Home Sweet Home, the full version of the game comes out. So after I'm done with Soma, sometime in September, I definitely want to dig into the Home Sweet Home demo. Oh, not demo, but the full game of Home Sweet Home. I want to play Yomawari after that, Yomawari Midnight Shadows, the sequel to the original Yomawari, since I did play through that Let's Play series somewhat early in my Let's Play venture. And that comes out October 24th, and I really want to get into that. Visage comes out sometime this year. Not sure when, but as soon as that game drops, I'm going to be playing that. I'm going to squeeze it in wherever I can. If it comes out between Home Sweet Home and Yomawari, I might squeeze it in between those two because I really want to play Visage. But if it comes out after Yomawari is done, then I'll do Visage instead. Or if I'm already like in the middle of doing Yomawari, I'll do Visage right after Yomawari. But as soon as I'm able to fit Visage into my Let's Play schedule, whenever that drops, I'm going to be playing the crap out of it. I'm so excited for that. I'm so excited for all of these awesome horror games coming out. And I think that's all of the things that I have to update you guys on, but you guys aren't here for that. What you guys are here for is to hear some of the answers I have to some of the questions that you guys asked me in the Q&A Friday video that I posted up the week before last. So let's jump right into the questions. Idic Beer 40K says, nice vid, Raz. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. He says, what is the most disappointing game you have played? And I'm pretty sure that I've already answered this question, but I'll go ahead and answer it again. It was definitely White Knight Chronicles. I loved the concept of that game. I was so excited for that game to come out. The game had a lot of potential. It had a really good story and characters and everything. I loved the concept of being able to henshin transform into night form and fight as that. But the execution in the development of that game was just really, really bad. There were things about the game that, if it were better made, I would be replaying and replaying the crap out of that game, because there were things about that game that were very interesting, and I liked the story a lot. I loved a lot of the parts of the gameplay, but other parts just completely ruined it. First of all, it had this weird combo system in it where you can kind of make your own combos, but to do those combos you had to spend points, and those points were the same points that you'd use to turn into your super knight form. So it's like, why would I want to postpone my ability to henshin transform into knight form and use combos instead, that the combos weren't even that impressive, honestly, and you were very limited on your ability to use them. I think that you should have just been able to chain combos however you freaking wanted to and had a fluid combo chain system. They also gave you the ability to make your own character, but it seemed very just tacked on at the end. You didn't have any impact on the story whatsoever. You had no voice acting. You were just there in such a way that, like, if they completely removed your character from any given cutscene, it would not change the game whatsoever. You literally just stand in the background and you just nod. Nod, 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 nod. It really, literally felt like they just tacked that option on at the very end of the development process. So, like, people like making custom characters, here you go. Really quick, and a lot of things had equally clunky feeling mechanics to it. You also had the ability to, like other RPGs, put other party members in your party and swap them out as you want to, but not all of your party members had the ability to turn into knight form, so it would really be really dumb to put those characters into your parties. It just makes more sense for your party of 3 to be the 3 characters that can turn into knights. You just have a way more powerful party that way. Even no matter how much I like the female character in there, there's no point in putting her in the party because she can't turn into knight form and she's really not all that strong. She just really is just a burden to the party. So I think that they should have given everyone their own Knight form in the first game. I think they finally gave some of the other characters Knight forms in White Knight Chronicles 2, but that doesn't make the first game any better. But yeah, the whole game in general was very disappointing. I'm glad I played through it one time because the story was worth seeing through, but it has no replayability for me. I would not want to play that game again. So thank you very much for your question, Nick Beer. Really appreciate it. Aiden from Blue Couch Productions says, your love for Lunar has convinced me to try and track that game down and play it, although I heard it's kind of rare and expensive, so maybe not. It is kind of rare and expensive, but it's only like, I think I saw somebody selling the game for like $100. You could probably find it for not that bad. You know, the common game is $60, and for such a great timeless classic being $100, not too bad. As for the PS1, so if you have a PS1, it'd be worth it, I think, just to have for your collection, in my opinion. You can also emulate it. I downloaded a PlayStation emulator and a ROM for Lunar Silver Star Story. I think that you could definitely get away with playing that. At the very least, if you're not able to find a way to play this game for yourself, I highly, highly recommend you look up a Let's Play series of that and watch somebody else play it. It's a great, epic fantasy story that I hold near and dear to my heart, and I try to introduce that story to as many people as humanly possible because I think they'll love it and I think you'll love it too. But he says, anyway, my question for next time is, what are some of your favorite iconic video game characters? Are the best video game characters different than ones in other media, or are they more similar than we think? Thank you for continuing the series, and I can't wait to hear your responses. I always love your questions. They're always very deep and thought-provoking. They take me a while to really think about. But I'm going to try to answer this as one part at a time because it's a very complex question. First of all, video game icons. My favorite video game icons. First of all, I love the classic video game icons just as much as the next person. You know, you have Pikachu from Pokemon, Sonic, Link from Zelda, Mario and Yoshi, Mega Man, Samus from the Metroid series, Kirby from Kirby's Adventure. I love those icons just as much as the next person. I grew up with those games. I played so many hours of those games when I was a kid, and I would not mind playing any games with those characters in it, like in the far future. I mean, I hope they continue on forever. But my favorite video game icons would definitely be, for one, Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII. Really, I could say so many Final Fantasy characters because I consider a lot of them to be iconic characters. But I think Sephiroth is definitely one of the most iconic Final Fantasy characters ever, and he's just one of the most badass villains ever, in my opinion. I love his style. As far as protagonists go, I love the current poster boy for Final Fantasy at the moment, Prince Noctis, who's just a badass. I love his personality. I love the ability he got from his family line to be able to just pull weapons out of nowhere and launch those weapons or use it as a shield to just warp from place to place or from weapon to weapon. And I love Prince Noctis in general. He's just a really awesome character. I love basically all the protagonists from the Persona series. I'd consider all of them to be iconic characters because whenever a new one comes out, they still like to display, you know, Minato and Yu from Persona 3 and 4, even though Joker is the new protagonist. So I love all those characters right now. I'm really digging Joker. I love his style. The Phantom Thieves are just really awesome. Going back a little bit, Ryu and Ken, I've always loved those characters. They're some of the most iconic characters out there, especially for fighting games. They're essentially the faces of fighting games, period. Like, whenever people think of fighting games, they tend to think of Ken and Ryu. They started so many things with fighting games. But I've always considered my brother and I to have this Ken-Ryu kind of relationship, even though we're blood brothers and Ken and Ryu are not. They have this brotherly bond, and it's both a bond of extreme friendship and also one of rivalry, and it's like a friendly rivalry, and we try to build each other up with that rivalry. So I really love Ken and Ryu. Morrigan and Felicia, some really badass and sexy characters from the Darkstalkers series. GLaDOS is an iconic character now from Portal, and I love her quirky, funny personality. She's a very unique villain. So I have a lot of video game icons that I love. You also say, are the best video game characters different than ones in other media, or are they more similar than we think? And I'd say yes, and also no, because I think that there are a lot of different things that people look for in a video game protagonist as opposed to a book protagonist or a movie protagonist or an anime protagonist. I think we look for different things in that, but I also think there's a lot of overlap. I'm going to take Sonic, for example. I think that Sonic does very well in video game form, And I think he also did pretty well in his cartoon/anime form, but not quite as well as in video game form. But you definitely wouldn't want to see Sonic in just like straight up as a movie protagonist. I think in movies people like tend to prefer realism. I think they want a more grounded character generally. So I think Sonic wouldn't do quite as well in movie format. But I think characters that like Nathan Drake and Lara Croft, for instance, are well-grounded characters, and I think that they would do very well as movie protagonists as well. They have this like action hero persona that I think just does well across multiple forms of media, in video games, in movies, in books. I don't think action heroes, however, do very well in anime, because I think that people are looking for anime characters to be a little more out there, a little more exaggerated. So I think that that's also why whenever you make a movie adaptation of an anime, people tend to have to change things around, because anime characters are hard to translate, and anime scenarios are hard to translate into movie form without having to make some changes, because you have to ground things in movies. So I think, yes, that, I think that video game characters are different than other characters in other forms of media, but I do think that there's a lot of overlap. And if you take a character like Kirby, for example, Kirby does very well as a video game character. He is cute and he's functional. He has the power to eat enemies and absorb their powers, and you can use those powers to do different things, but he doesn't have really a personality. He doesn't talk. I don't think that Kirby would translate well in book form. I don't think that Kirby translates very well into cartoons and anime, despite the Kirby cartoon existing. I don't think that it's doing very well. I don't really like the Kirby cartoon very much. I definitely don't think he'd do well in a live action movie. So also then there's, if you think about Mario, he's fun and functional. He has a lot of personality in his games, but I don't think that the Mario personality would do very well in movie form or in anime form. I think that that's strictly a video game thing. So I think yes and no. There are characters that we love because of what they are in a video game or in a movie, but I think that there are characters also that will do well, like, across multiple things. So, yes and no. Anyway, thank you very much for your question, Aiden. Sabijin from over at Sabijin Games says, "Ooh, I am looking forward to the Stanley Parable. I also picked up Hollow Knight and will be streaming it at some point. I'll definitely have to watch that at some point. Question for the week. What are you looking forward to in the gaming industry in the next 5, 10, or 20 years? I am most looking forward to, not gonna lie, advancements in VR. I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg as far as VR goes, and I'd love to see where that takes off to, being able to be more immersed in gaming, coming out with headsets that just look super realistic and, with a wider field of view, so you don't have that little edge or border and you really feel like you're in that world. Being able to have a higher resolution in each lens. I think that there are going to be so many advances for VR, because we're just seeing a lot of growth in that in the last couple of years. So in 10 more years, I could just imagine what that's going to be like. I think we're getting to a point, however, in games that we're reaching the peak of what we're going to see graphically. I think that we're going to standardize 4K to where everything is going to be 4K and run 4K great in the future, but I don't think, we might go to 8K, but I don't really see video games standardizing at 8K, ever. But I think that we're going to peak out at 4K and we're going to go for performance after that. We're going to try to see how many things we can run at 4K at one time on the screen. How big of a world can we build in 4K? I think that we're reaching the peak of graphics, and we're going for improvements in performance at this point. But yeah, any advancement that I can see that would further immerse me in a game and make a game more interactive, I am all for. Really looking forward to seeing the future of VR. So thank you very much for your question, man. James says, "Wow, man, sounds like some amazing announcements. So my question for next time is, you mentioned that you're getting back into fighting games, which is cool. So what kind of character would you be if you were in a fighting game? Also, who would be your rival from any fighting game?" If I were a character in a fighting game, I'd love to be able to use a sword like the sword that I use in real life, have the long, flowy black hair with my one-handed black straight-edged katana, and in one hand being able to use that. And in real life, when I fight, I try to have an evasive fighting style, a very counter-heavy fighting style. So imagine as a fighting game character, I'd have a lot of maneuverability and counter ability. So I'd be able to fade back and counter-attack whenever they're making their blows. And also, I'd love to be able to use some magic in my left hand, because those are the characters I always really love, as characters that both use a sword and magic. So being able to do some attacks from close range with my sword and throwing a fireball with my left hand, that'd be really freaking cool, I think. He says, also, what would your rival be from any fighting game? Oh man, that's a difficult one to think about. If I had to pick one person in any fighting game to be my rival, it would probably be Robin from Super Smash Bros. Just because I imagine our fighting styles would be very similar. I'd just be a little bit more evasive and quick with my sword fighting abilities, and he'd cast bigger spells from his book, so little nuances, but I think that our fighting styles would be similar, and in doing so we could build each other up more. I don't hate Robin anyway, he's my favorite Fire Emblem character, but I think that that would cause a great rivalry. Anyways, thank you very much for your question, James, and I think that's all the questions that you guys had for me this week. If you guys have any more questions, please do not hesitate to drop those questions down in the comment section below, and I'll get to answering those questions in the next Q&A Friday video. Thank you guys so much for watching. It means so much to me to have you guys' continued support, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please do me a huge favor, that thumbs up button down below. It really and truly means a lot more to me, you guys know. Do me a favor and share this video with your friends and drop some comments too, even if not questions. I just love hearing from you guys. I love chatting with you guys. It really and truly makes my day. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, you guys know that I'd love to have you guys as a member of the Darklight family. And then we'll continue this YouTube journey together again very soon. Until then, may your dreams like your darkest hour, and I'll see you next time.